What is going on, everybody? Welcome into the Wager Alarm live stream. I'm Howard Bender. With me, of course, Craig Mish. It is time. It is Saturday night. It means Westgate SuperContest picks. They need to go in, and they need to go in fast. So Craig and I are here to let you know what we're planning on doing. Now, Craig, you and I got a chance to look at the lines, give some leans on Tuesday. Anything in the realm of COVID or players being held out that kind of want to change your leans anywhere?
No, not really. I think that as I look at it this week, I'm very optimistic that all the games are going to be played for the first time this year. So I'm happy about that. Of course, that could change very quickly tomorrow, but I'm feeling pretty good about it. And in terms of most of the lines this week, we haven't seen a significant amount of line movement from Tuesday to now. So most of the games that we'll be playing more or less have the same odds that they have at the Westgate in the Super Contest. And of course, those lines lock on Wednesday night. The lone exception in terms of what I saw this week is we saw a big move on Denver getting some backing where they now are only at +8. And in the Super Contest, they are +10. So if you would dare back the Broncos in that game coming up on Sunday, then you could get an extra 2 points for yourself. But Howard and I clearly are on the same page with Denver this year. And this is not to say that we think that New England is going to blow out Denver. It's just you have to have some real stones at this point to back the Broncos, especially when they're not at home at this stage. They've really, in terms of teams that we've seen, they have one win. It's against the Jets, and it was close. So I could easily see New England winning by a lot. I could also see Denver entering the back door. So, but beyond that, I feel good about the rest of the.
That's kind of where I'm at right now. I mean, I hate to say it, but Sony Michel just got put on the COVID list. Another,
what's he doing anyway?
I'm just saying. Another player on the offensive line landed on the COVID list.
That's true. That's fair. Maybe by
when
tomorrow other guys will be out too. I mean, it's a nice little dart throw there. Maybe that's why the line moved a little bit. Somebody knows something that we don't. But for me, the way that Denver plays is just
I know.
I'll tell you this: if Cam Newton wasn't quarterback and it was anybody else, no matter what the points were, I would take Denver.
Okay, all right.
But Cam Newton's dynamic enough. He's had 2 weeks off, and look, maybe the difference between some of these other sports and football is you would think that you need to be on the field to have all this activity and sort of keep the mojo going. But the Titans definitely proved that getting some rest may not be a bad thing. So I'm hesitant to go against New England in this spot either.
All right, fine. We won't do it. Let's get to who we are picking, who we are taking. I'll go down the Westgate card right now. We'll start it off. We are taking a road favorite coming off a bye week here. We're looking at your Detroit Lions giving 3 to the Jaguars. The line's still at 3 here when I look for today's numbers. So, listen, coming off the bye week, Stafford's in a good spot. I think really what this is mostly about is the Jaguars just really are not a good football team. We should understand that, and I think a lot of people were just still riding a little high on that week 1 upset of the Colts. And I think we're starting to see the real Jaguars for who they are. DJ Chark, again, could be out of this game. He's a little banged up, so the Lions, who you loved preseason coming in there, and you loved their win total on the over, well, we look at them and we say they're getting a win.
Yeah, and I think that when I look at the Lions at this stage, I'm really just kind of looking at it this way, Howard. The bottom line for me is that I think that Jacksonville has played way above over their heads this year, and they've played in a couple of good games. I'm at the point now where I'm ready to start fading them, and it's only 3 points. Detroit's coming off a bye, so let's take the Lions -3.
Yep, no doubt. No doubt. All right, second pick, a road dog this time around, but 64.7% of the time, Craig, since 2010, it works every time. Craig and I are going to take the Falcons. We're getting 3.5 points. I think the line moved to 4, so we actually lose a bit of a half point there on the value-wise, but again, we're going with the trend that took us to Houston, winning and covering last week. Teams who fire their coach in season, first game back, 64.7% of the time, in 16 times is what it comes down to here.
Oh, for sure.
That's where we're at.
Yeah, and I want to say something here about the Falcons. Look, they're a really hard team to back. I mean, I understand it. Somebody could look at this and say, how can you just blindly go with a stat or go with a trend? In my mind, it's the right way to go. Look, the Vikings have not played well, and I understand that everyone is in love with Madison, and he may very well have a good week against Atlanta. But Atlanta, to me, playing with a new coach with some new motivation, I want to take the Falcons.
Yeah. Listen, I think it's new motivation. They're getting Julio Jones back. We already know that this is an offense that can put up points. We've seen it before, and we know how bad the Vikings defense is. So no worries, no concerns over that one for me. Really, it's not blind. The stat just kind of reinforces the belief for me.
Yeah, no, I think so. And the other thing that when it comes to Minnesota here is that, look, Kirk Cousins had a really good end of October and November into December last year, but he doesn't put together back-to-back games very often that are solid. So we'll just take the points here and simply put, you're always looking for a road dog with an advantage to actually win the game outright. I think Atlanta has a shot in this one.
Well, speak of the devil, a road dog with an advantage who has the possibility of winning the game outright. Give me the Bengals plus 7.5 going up against the Indianapolis Colts. Line went up a little bit. I think it went up to 8, right? Yeah. And then it backed down to 7.5 here. I tell you, man, I think the Colts, a little hole on defense with Darius Leonard. I don't love their offense. I don't love Phillip Rivers. I'll take the Bengals here.
Yeah, look, it's hard to back the Bengals after backing them last week. But I think this is the pick in particular this week, Howard, that I'm the most proud of because I think it teaches you something. You have to forget what happened the week before. And even if a team burned you in wagering and you're a player that plays $10, $20, $50, $100, $500, you can't look at anything in the NFL and think that there is any kind of consistency. In general, you're going to have to take a team that burned you the week before or who burned you 2 weeks ago. And when you look at it in 2020, I could make the case that the New York Giants have played worse than any other team in football this year. And guess what? They've covered half the games they played in. Yeah. So this isn't about winning. It's about picking the right games. Cincinnati is coming off their worst game of the season. There's no doubt about that. And Indianapolis doesn't look – I think Indianapolis is going to change their game plan and basically focus more on their running game. Rivers is not the dynamic force that Lamar Jackson is. And simply put, I think that Burrow has to learn from the mistakes that he made last week. I don't see him doing the same thing this week. They were really up against it last week. The line, I think, tells you everything. Why aren't the Colts 12 or 13-point favorites like Baltimore after Baltimore completely shut them down? The reason why? Bengals have a shot in this one, so we're going to back them again this week.
I love it. I love it. Definitely a favorite pick of mine as well. Next game that we're taking, Packers-Bucks. It's a pick 'em in the SuperContest. We're going against the home team. We're taking the road, the road, and that's the Packers. I mean, listen, I love the Packers. I love what they're doing. I love the fact that Aaron Rodgers is playing the way he's playing. He's got that chip on his shoulder, and he's buying into Matt LaFleur's system. Vita Vea out for the Buccaneers. That's a huge hole in that defensive line. Makes me love what Aaron Jones has the possibility of doing, and it also just kind of it just opens, it spreads things up. It pushes it to the outside for the Buccaneers, and I think that that's an advantage for the Packers here. I mean, going against Brady at home, though, does that make you nervous?
That's the only thing. Yeah, no, that's the only thing here. But I would tell you, the one thing that gives me pause with a game like this, it's a very public game. It's the prime game. Everyone is going to be betting on it. Like if you took the one game this week, I'm not talking about who's betting the most, like in terms of percentages of sides. The most bet game will be this game because everybody wants to watch a game that they bet on TV. And so usually, in general, 17 weeks, I'll shy away from those games as much as I possibly can. But the truth is, at this point, how do you not back Green Bay based on what you've seen? I've gone against them way too much, been a disbeliever in them way too much over the last couple of years. And Rodgers definitely looks motivated. It's basically almost as if he said to this team, you didn't get me any help in the offseason, and the only thing that you did is draft my replacement. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to show you. And I hate using narratives like that in terms of betting, but it really certainly feels that way. Well, he's got another thing to motivate him this week, playing against Tom Brady. And look, do I think this will be a close game? Absolutely. We're not going to take every game on the board and think it's not going to be close. I do think that this game could go right down to the final possession. But honestly, between Brady and Rodgers, in the regular season, Rodgers is the comeback king, right? Brady's the comeback king in the postseason. Rodgers is the comeback king in the regular season. So I don't ever feel like they're out of the game. Line has fluctuated quite a bit. Started off with Green Bay -2, -1, now down to pick 'em. I think you'll see a little bit of love on Green Bay tomorrow morning, but we will take the Packers on the road.
Yeah, I mean, listen, it's going to be a really. I'm really excited to watch this game. It's really kind of funny. It's one of 2 4 o'clock games. The other one, obviously, being the Dolphins Jets. So
Yeah,
we know where everybody's going to be watching, right?
Yeah.
I mean, it's going to be like that. So Rodgers gets Devontae Adams back. Brady gets Chris Godwin back. I mean, there's a lot going on in this game. On multiple levels. So it's definitely going to be a fun one. I'll stick with the Pack. Now, before we get to our last pick, I do want to ask you about the other 4 o'clock game, that being the Dolphins and the Jets, because you and I talked about this on Tuesday. We were both leaning Dolphins minus the 8.5 points. Why didn't we go this way?
Because when the two teams play each other, anything goes, and it hasn't. The Jets have been much better, believe it or not. The Jets in the last 10 years have pretty much always been better than the Dolphins going into this year, right? Like they've always been better. But Miami has always found a way to either keep those games close or win them. Miami also does that against New England. Here's what I'm rooting for in this game. Last week when we did the live stream, I said the Jets are an instant fade the rest of the season, and I got to go against what I said. What I'm hoping for this week is I am hoping the Jets play a close game with I don't want to play it, but I want the Jets to play a close game with the Dolphins, something like 24-16, something around that, and then start fading the Jets the rest of the way. Something tells me when I look at this that the Dolphins don't deserve to be this big a favorite against any team in the NFL. I mean, at the end of the year, the Jets are going to have 1 or 2 wins. The Dolphins may have 3 or 4. They may have 5. It's possible. They may have 6. But that does not make them significantly better, and it doesn't make them more than a touchdown better against the Jets. If the Dolphins beat the Jets and beat them by 30, honestly, I could see it. It's not impossible to me, but I'm not willing to lay those kind of points with Miami. If you told me the Jets were playing the Steelers, laying 8.5, Steelers, sure. Titans, sure. Cardinals, sure. Lions, maybe even sure. But Miami? The same Miami team who couldn't score a touchdown against Seattle's defense for an entire game 2 weeks ago? No, not going to do that. Dolphins, I think, win, but I'm not going to. I would only lean toward the Jets here. I wouldn't take them.
Okay. All right. Do me a favor. Entertain me for a moment here. Fast forward Craig Mish to week 8. All right. Where the Jets travel to Kansas City to take on Le'Veon Bell and the Chiefs. Just with everything that you know about these teams, with everything that you know about handicapping, what's that point spread?
If the teams are exactly the same, do the Jets have a win? Yes or no?
No, because they're playing the Dolphins. They're going to lose to the Dolphins. They're going to lose to the Bills.
The line at Kansas City is 17.5.
17.5. Yeah. I was going to say 16, but yeah, I'm with you.
Miami got 20 at Dallas last year.
Yeah, okay.
Covered.
They did cover. I'm not taking the Jets with the points against Kansas City. I won't do it, Craig. You can't make me, and I won't do it. All right, so 4 picks are in right now for us. We've got the Lions giving 3. We've got the Falcons getting 3.5. All right, we've got the Bengals getting 7.5. And we've got the Packers in a pick'em.
Right.
Last one. Here we go. We float to Monday night. We said this on Tuesday. One of these games we're looking at home dogs. One of these games is going to turn out right for us. Bills Chiefs is only a 3.5 point spread. I didn't want to touch that one. I know, like, as bad as the Bills looked versus the Chiefs taking their first loss. I think that's probably the sucker bet, and the Chiefs are just going to maul them. So we tilt over to the Cowboys at home, getting 2 against the Cardinals. We are back in the Red Rifle. Andy Dalton. How do you feel? How does that make you feel?
Well, I'll tell you this. We lied to everybody after taking Dallas and losing week 1 because we've taken them again and again.
We did say we would never take them again, didn't we?
Keep taking them and keep losing. Look, the rule of thumb with Dallas, great as a dog, bad as a favorite. That's been the way that it's been for years with them. They have value as a dog, not as a favorite. Do you believe in Arizona after 1 week, after having a couple of dog weeks? I'm not sure that I do. I do think that both of these Monday Night Football games, the home team has a good shot to cover. I do think that. And you go back through the years of Monday Night Football, for whatever reason, the teams on Monday night at home, they show up, they win more than 50% of the time. At the very least, I think one of these two teams wins outright, so you're getting a good money line value here as well. I'm not quite sure what to expect from Dallas, but the Cardinals lost me a little bit. I gotta tell you, the Jets, I know they beat them bad, but they lost me for a couple weeks. I was really not impressed with the way that Kyler Murray played, and especially with the way that their defense played. They couldn't stop Teddy Bridgewater a couple weeks ago. So give me Dallas on Monday night. And look, there's money's going to come in on Dallas before Monday. This game will be a pick 'em for sure. They're not going to be getting points, so we'll take a little advantage here and get the 2.
Yeah. Oh, I'm perfectly happy with that as well. It's +1 right now.
Yeah, it'll be
+1,
pick 'em.
so.
It'll be pick 'em by the time Monday night comes. Okay, so to review a couple of the other games, just to kind of go through them. Panthers at home against the Bears. That line now is 1 in the SuperContest. You could get 1.5 with the Bears. I'd love to back Carolina. I really am impressed with what they're doing, but I don't know that they're the better team here. I think Chicago may be the better team, and Chicago's one of those teams at the end of the year, they're going to have 10 wins, and you're going to go, how did they get there? And they're going to feel like a paper playoff team. But the reality is that it just scares me to take Carolina as a favorite. I didn't expect them to be a favorite, honestly, Howard, in any game that they would have played this year. But here we are. And you may ask yourself, why are they favored against a team that's 4-1? Well, the Bears are kind of a paper 4-1 team, but I could see Chicago winning too, so we'll pass. We got the Titans and Texans. This is the line of the week you can't figure out, right? Like, the Texans have got to win this game, because if the SuperContest comes out tomorrow and the number 1 most picked game is in Tennessee, then I don't have any idea what I'm talking about. I'm telling you, tomorrow Tennessee is going to be the top team picked.
Really?
Laying 3. Oh, yeah, laying 3 for sure. It seems too easy, right?
Yeah, not to me.
What have Houston shown this year? They've shown 0.
Well, again, they came back. They beat Minnesota. They beat Minnesota fairly handily last week. The new regime there. Listen, Deshaun Watson with more autonomy at the line, utilizing his weapons. I don't hate it. So it didn't surprise me as much.
Didn't Houston beat Jacksonville?
What's that?
Didn't Houston beat Jacksonville?
Oh, was it Jacksonville? Yeah, that's right.
They did not beat them very handily. They did not.
I was thinking of the Minnesota game.
Yeah. Houston, Jacksonville had the ball on the 5-yard line with a chance to take the lead with a touchdown, and they hiked the ball to Robinson, who ran backwards and fumbled, and Houston picked up the ball. I'm telling you now, Houston is not good. Now, look, the line is odd to me. It's very odd. So that's why I'm staying away, but I have a feeling Houston must win this game for this line to be 3. It doesn't make sense. It does not make sense, this line. Doesn't Tennessee look great? I don't get it.
They did. Well, it's at 4 right now. Tennessee's given 4.
They're undefeated, right?
What's that?
They're undefeated.
Yes, they are undefeated.
And Houston has 1 win. It's against Jacksonville. They had to eke it out.
I just have more faith in Deshaun Watson, I guess, than you.
No, listen.
All right. What about Ravens Eagles? This one in the SuperContest, it was 7.5.
No.
What's that?
With that hook, it's driving me nuts.
It was 7.5 here in the SuperContest, but right now the spread is at 9.5.
Yeah, I would take Baltimore -7. That would be my line. I don't want to mess with anything else.
Okay.
Cincinnati was within 2 plays of being back in the game and covering the 12 points last week. So the Eagles could easily lose 24-17, and then you win with the Eagles. But I'm not going to back the Eagles after the way that they've played.
Yeah,
I'll say the other team I'd have a little interest in is Washington at the Giants. That's another one. That's another team that I kind of feel like they're in every game. Look, Alex Smith is a great story, but he unfortunately I don't know if he can play anymore. But if Allen plays, I think they got a chance to beat the Giants. I do. I think they have a chance.
Yeah, to me that game was like that. That's a pick.
Yeah, I know. I don't want to mess with it, but
yeah,
it's there. And then we talked about Colts Bengals because we have the Bengals. We talked about the Packers Bucks. My Rams 49ers is interesting because you would have never guessed a month ago that the 49ers would be underdogs in any game at home, let alone to the Rams. The Rams are another one of those teams that you don't want to believe, kind of like the Bears, because we saw the Rams last year. But let's also remember when the Rams played the 49ers late in the season on the verge of making the playoffs, the Rams defender fell down on a play, and the Rams went all the way, and the 49ers went all the way for a touchdown. That's what gave them their win. So I don't love the Rams as a favorite here. If I had to pick a side, it would be taking San Francisco. But the line is kind of telling you that the Rams are a better team.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, I think that's a lot of it. I think it's an overreaction. 49ers are getting some players back, but I think it's more about the fact that Garoppolo just looked terrible last week, and to have them pull him,
worrisome.
to have them pull him mid-game,
yeah,
was a big deal. Was a big deal. All right, and Patriots Broncos we talked about, and
yeah,
there we go.
Chiefs Bills Monday night.
You said it, man. You said both home teams have a chance to cover.
I would back Buffalo at home. Yeah,
I would back Buffalo.
I would back Buffalo at home. It is really hard to go against Kansas City because you feel like they can. Even against the Raiders last week, they were kept fighting and getting back into that game. Both teams have a lot of motivation. Kansas City coming off a loss to the Raiders, Buffalo coming off that terrible loss to Tennessee. But again, the Chiefs defense is sliding a little bit. Raiders offense isn't that great, and they really tore them apart. So Buffalo's at home. I could see Josh Allen doing the same. And again, you're getting a field goal here, and you're winning with a field goal, a late field goal from Kansas City. I don't think their injuries really mean anything. I know Watkins is out, but Hardman is great. Well, what's Buffalo's pass defense like?
It got a little soft. Like that's the problem. They were dealing with some injuries in the linebacking core, so they weren't really falling back into coverage too much. But last week also, I mean, there was no Tre'Davious White. Now I don't know if White is back in or not, but I mean, losing Tre'Davious White, I think was kind of a big deal for them. It was like a very last minute scratch. Let me just kind of take a quick look here. He's questionable for this week's game. He's dealing with a back injury, but he did practice in full on Saturday. So I feel like that'll give him a little bit of a boost. But I mean, is that enough of a boost? I mean, who's he going to be on? He's not going to work the slot against Tyreek Hill.
Right.
Mecole Hardman's got ridiculously crazy speed.
Yeah.
He's going to be seeing more snaps because Sammy Watkins is out. Buffalo kind of struggles a little bit against the tight end. That's a little bit of an issue, especially when you're facing Travis Kelce. Listen, the reason I said yes to Dallas instead of Buffalo is as good as Buffalo is, I think they are having some issues right now on defense, and I think Kansas City wants to come back and just throttle somebody.
All right, so we'll pass on the game. It's as easy as that.
It is indeed. It is. So, all right. So last time here, we will review it. Again, this ticket will be posted on Wager Alarm.
Paid? Let me know if it gets paid. I'd like to get paid off it.
It would be posted.
We are due for like a 5-0. Maybe this is the week.
You think so?
Yeah, we're due. We're like scratching at 2s and 3s, and it's rare to be such 2 and 3 and 3 and 2. Have we been 3 and 2 and 2 and 3 every week thus far?
Every week.
Yeah, right now we're due. We're due for a 4-1, 5-0. I have a good feeling about it. I do. That's
always one of my best strategy plans, to go with the he's due strategy.
We are really due. we had a 4-1 or 5-0 the last 2 years by this time. So I understand this is the hardest year of betting that anyone will ever have.
Did we though? I don't know if we had it this early in the season.
Oh, we definitely had a 4-1.
Did we?
Yeah, I think so.
All right. Well, I'm going to assume that you've got a better memory than I do.
I wouldn't assume that.
You're younger than me.
Am I?
You have more. I think you're younger than me, and you got more gray matter in your head.
Well, we're about even there.
Let's recap it real quick. Lions -3. Yeah. All right. Yes. Falcons +3.5.
Got it.
All right. Bengals +7.5.
I'm in.
I'm all in. I'm all in. I think you and I are the only ones who get that joke.
Probably so. Yeah.
It's a good one, though.
It is good. Good inside joke.
Packers in a pick'em.
Yeah.
And then finally, we're taking the Cowboys +2 at home.
And you like Pittsburgh -3 a little bit more than me.
Yes.
And I like, which are those ones that I talk about that I liked a little bit more?
You like the Broncos +10.
No, not really. What do you stop?
Oh, you liked Washington +2.5.
I like Washington +2.5 a little more than you. Yeah.
And you wish that you had the stones to take the Panthers and lay the 1.5.
Yeah. I would like to see the Panthers win. I would like to believe that what I'm seeing is real. I would like to believe that there's a coach out there that no one's ever heard of that can turn LSU around completely, make Joe Burrow a star, leave, go to Carolina, make Teddy Bridgewater a star, and then next year become a head coach in the NFL, Joe Brady. If there is anyone that deserves to be a head coach after what this guy has done, it is this guy. I don't even know if he can be a head coach, but this is the story for me this year. No McCaffrey, and this they are playing awesome, and Bridgewater looks awesome. So,
well,
for me,
here's hoping that
of firing, that's the guy I would want. I mean, Howard, LSU was in the Southeastern Conference was the best defensive team along with Alabama for 2 decades. Their offense was horrible. They'd play these games 9-6, 16-10 with Les Miles and even with Ed Orgeron. And then this guy came in and made LSU's offense fantastic. He's gone. LSU's lost already.
I'd like to parlay up that Joe Brady is coaching the Jets next year with Trevor Lawrence as their quarterback.
I'm telling you now, if Carolina wins 9 games and this offense, a top 5 offense continues like this with Mike Davis and Robbie Anderson and Teddy Bridgewater, he is the number. Bieniemy may be the number 1 guy on the list because he's got experience of coaching with Andy Reid. I mean, you can't beat that. But beyond that, in terms of hiring a new guy, an unheard guy, he'd be it for me. That's where I'd go.
All right. That's going to do it for us here on the Wager Alarm live stream. Again, go check out wageralarm.com. You'll have NFL best bets from John and Pemba. You've got our picks here at the Super Contest, which will also be picked. And a big thanks to John and Pemba for producing today's live stream. For Craig Mish, I'm Howard Bender. We'll catch you next time.